Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals at your service. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about construction, real estate, business expansion, economic development, fun things related to your favorite city becoming even more vibrant and prosperous. Our sponsors are Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Now, without any further ado, it's time to introduce my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker in the flesh, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning.
Try that again. Your microphone was off.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Trenton. Should we introduce our guest?
Absolutely.
Our guest today.
Coming to you from West Omaha. I don't know.
Our guest. I don't think anyone's heard the words you said. Now you're good. Okay. Say it again.
Coming to you from West Omaha, Brad Williams Photography, owner and producer and co-owner of E&A Consulting Engineers, Brad Williams.
Hey, good morning, guys. That's the most creative interview or intro I've ever had here on the Grow Omaha show.
And so professional sounding.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, the big voice and everything else. Brad, you are joining us today because we're going to do our call-in show. Of course, everyone knows Brad. Brad's on regularly, and he helps us with a lot of things with the Grow Omaha social media stuff and everything else and photography. But a lot of times when you hear Brad's voice, he's either co-hosting or it's call-in show. And that's what the case is today. So
you're on our YouTube channel and you're watching Brad's amazing construction videos.
That's a good point. But today it's the call-in show, and the number would be 402-558-1110. I almost gave the wrong number, 402-558-1110. So you want to get your dialing fingers ready. And if you have any question about Omaha growth and development, wondering what's, probably the most common questions are, what's going on at the corner of Main and State? And
usually it's 90th and Center, but yeah.
Okay, or State and Main, one of the two. Or, why doesn't Omaha have this or anything else? So that's all fair game when we do our call-in show. But before we did that, we had a restaurant review this week, Grow Omaha Eats, which is sponsored by Cheer Athletics. Cheer Athletics is the nation's #1 gold standard all-star cheer gym. And all-star cheer is a very popular competitive athletics activity that so many kids around the country engage in. And we have a Cheer Athletics location right here in Omaha at Highway 50 and Highway 370 in Papillion. And we urge you, if you have kids or grandkids, to check out Cheer Athletics. So the Grow Omaha Eats restaurant this week was Primos, which is the Mexican restaurant at 60th and Center. And Sarah Baker Hansen, who writes our Grow Omaha Eats reviews, said, hey, it's a good place, but it's particularly good at breakfast. So the Grow Omaha team today decided to go have breakfast at Primos because we wanted to test whether Sarah Baker Hansen is accurate in her reviews. Guys, we had breakfast there. We got back to the studio about a half hour ago. What do we think?
I loved it. The carnitas Benedict. Never had that before. It was fabulous. I got my hash browns crispy. Great service. And they have good breakfast at Primos.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I had too. Trenton's looked probably the best. I mean, it really had that appeal, visual appeal to it. But I had a Primos omelet, and it was fantastic.
I had the huevos rancheros. They were good. We ordered a side. I had a side of breakfast sausage. Quite good. I would go back. So Sarah Baker Hansen, therefore it is official. She is an accurate restaurant reviewer because we tested what she said and agreed with her review. You can read that review and all of Sarah's Grow Omaha Eats restaurant reviews simply by going to the Grow Omaha website and clicking on Eats. That's EATS on the navigation bar. And we also put them every other week into our Grow Omaha newsletter. Well, fellows, let's go into our news of the week. After the news, we'll start answering phone calls and questions. But news of the week is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com. They know mortgages. They've known mortgages for well over 30 years. Holly Schneiderwind and her team of mortgage brokers are very customer service oriented, work hard to make sure you as a borrower are matched with the right home loan. And it doesn't matter whether you're going conventional or if you want to do the FHA, VA, they can help you with all of that. Sit down with them and they can find out what your unique needs are. Shop a variety of banks that provide loans and match you up with the best one. EagleMortgageCompany.com. Well, guys, some people may have heard this on the news just before our show started this morning, but OPPD is looking at investing $2 billion in order to expand electricity generating capacity. And part of this is due to regular population growth and business growth, but a lot of it is due to industrial growth. Omaha is a big data center capital, one of the data center capitals of the country now, and you need to produce a lot of electricity as the economy has heated up. The electronic e-commerce and all those related things have heated up starting with the pandemic. There's more and more demand on data centers. They're a good source of economic activity. So Omaha's got to crank it up so that we can have that reliable power for the long-term future.
Yeah, I know when I was driving by the new Google data center out on State Street the other day, they one of the first buildings up, but also there's a huge substation going up right in front of it. So you can, anytime these data centers come in, you can see all the new power infrastructure going along the highways with their bright, shiny new poles.
Yeah, OPPD has really become a big powerhouse.
Kaboom.
Thank you. And I remember when they were putting up the huge high tension wires and everything, the wheels, how they strung those wires. That was the coolest thing a few years ago. But it looks like, according to the articles, 2.5% to 3% increases. I would think that a lot of that gets passed along to the data centers, unless they have incentives or something like that. But the consumers will stomach some of that. But if we need the infrastructure, we need it.
Well, and OPPD's doing a good job of mixing it up. They still have their coal-fired plant, which, is kind of the old standby. And I know some people are not too excited about that environmentally, but I think it's nice to have some redundancy and some versatility in your power generating. They've really worked hard on these natural gas plants, which are a lot cleaner than coal. And then Trenton, I know you were involved in a land deal with OPPD a while back for a solar farm.
Yeah, and they should still own it. I mean, I'd only sold them part of it, but they have, I think, about at least 1,200 acres along the what's the corridor?
It's a Platteview.
Platteview Road Expressway. It'll eventually be an expressway, but from about 156 all the way out to probably 192nd or something like that. There's a lot of controversy on whether that property should be held as farms to become everything from shopping centers to office buildings and neighborhoods. But they have to explore those different types of power, and everybody's about clean energy nowadays, but it's got to make good economic sense. And I was just reading a thing about how microplastics, about when they recycle plastic bottles and everything, the human body is getting all kinds of small little bits of plastic that can cause cancers and things like that. So we all want to be energy conscious. We all want to be environmentally friendly and stuff. But sometimes the effort can be negative.
Like the cure is worse than the disease.
Yeah, and some of those alternative energy things like the solar, that is an economic development driver to bring some of these big national companies that the Chamber's trying to lure to Omaha and the metro area. It's something they look for.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus, and creating the solar panels and all of that can be economic activity in and of itself. Now, the question that's going to pop up from this, we know it's going to be coming. Some people are going to say, "Hey, if it's going to cause rates to go up, why do we want these damn data centers? Let's not have those." I think the argument can be made, though, that these data centers are cutting-edge technology. They're a very big part of major economic production in this time in history. And I don't think Omaha wants to be without that. I think we want to be in that game because there are a lot of collateral and related economic benefits from having these big data centers here, that it's worth it if we have to continue to upgrade our power supply.
Well, it starts with the construction jobs, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Someone sells the land. There's a lot of money that gets pumped into our economy, and these construction jobs have gone on for almost a decade probably by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big plus. Well, something that's not quite as big as $2 billion, but still a major project is the Omaha Public Library's new central location planned for the southwest corner of 72nd and Dodge. The city of Omaha announced this week through a press release that construction is about ready to begin. So this massive 96,000 square foot central library, which according to the architectural renderings will be absolutely beautiful, is going to replace the Do Space. The Do Space is the two-story building, which was once a Borders bookstore. That's going to be demolished not too long from now.
Yeah, we're really breaking down Borders in Omaha.
Yeah, and it's going to be demolished not too long from now. The Do Space services will be temporarily relocated to the Abrams Library on 90th Street. And then in 2026...
North 90th.
North 90th, yep, clarification. And then in 2026, guys, we will have an absolutely beautiful library facility that will be an architectural landmark.
And then I'll have about 90,000 square foot for lease, the former Shopco at 84th and Frederick, where the current administration and archives and distribution is being held at Frederick Square. So now line up to lease that.
So now Trenton is promoting listings that will become available in 2026. That is a proactive broker right there. That's why he's legendary. Brad, you know a thing or two about buildings and architecture and all that sort of thing. This building truly will be a landmark.
Yeah, it sure will be a nice centerpiece that kind of balance out the new crossroads coming in across the street.
If I remember correctly, they're going to have about a 50-foot high warehouse with technology that probably Amazon is using, where you can get any book within 2 minutes. The way the robots will work.
It'll be that efficient. Well, the city of Omaha is saying that this will be one of the single largest investments that a public library system in the United States has made in several years. The space will have the normal library features, but it will also incorporate everything that people loved and currently love about Do Space. As far as some exact dates are concerned, Do Space's last day at 72nd and Dodge will be June 13th. It'll reopen in the temporary Abrams branch on June 17th. They're going to have this is kind of interesting, a grand opening celebration for a temporary location on June 24th. Then, like we said earlier, the new Omaha Central Public Library expected to open sometime in 2026.
I wonder if they're going to have like a garage sale or a estate sale. You can get like a microfiche machine or something like that.
I'm sure there'll be a line out the door. So, guys, think about this. 2026, that's going to be a big year. So, Mutual of Omaha's skyscraper opens, the streetcar system opens, and this landmark Central Library at 72nd and Dodge will open. We all have to wait around for 2026 because we're going to have a lot to talk about on Grow Omaha.
It's going fast, guys. This has been a fast year.
And just think about how much construction has to happen between now and 2026. That's going to be
And then the next project
impressive.
will be started by then and maybe almost done, half done or something like that.
Yeah, Trenton, you and I were just chatting briefly before the show about the next project. And if you drive by Saddle Creek and Farnham on the northwest corner of the University of Nebraska Medical Center campus, you can see the site that was formerly home to the J.P. Lord School and the Monroe Meyer Institute has been graded like crazy. And then on the west side of Saddle Creek, it looks like there's some dirt surcharging that I assume is going to be related to the new administrative tower. And then there's going to be a parking garage over there and an extension of the street. So a lot of activity.
And then the steel castings plant is down to the steel.
Yeah, the frame. Yeah. So I can't wait to see what that looks like.
That'll be incubator and offices and
that should open, I think that's 2025 where it opens, or maybe even sooner. So we won't have to wait quite as long for the steel castings plant to become the innovation center. And that's your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages. Give them a call or stop by 114th and Davenport Street. All right, now it's time to get serious. The phone number is 402-558-1110, 402-558-1110. Put put that phone to good use and call us and ask us a question.
You know, we get a ton of questions on between the different social media platforms and the email, and why we do our best to answer them all. I know we miss some. I know for sure I dropped some through the cracks. So if you have a question you really want to know, now's a great time to call and get through to us.
Yeah, because we're actually here live and in person. So you're listening to Grow Omaha. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid are joined by Brad Williams from E&A Consulting and Brad Williams Photography. The show's brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. We'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid sitting here in the studio as we always are. We're joined by our good friend and colleague Brad Williams, who is the owner of Brad Williams Photography, also with E&A Consulting, civil engineering firm here in town. It is the call-in show, 402-558-1110, 402-558-1110. We're going to get to our first two callers, Brian and Pamela, here in just in a moment. Do want to remind you, though, that if you ever find yourself in a situation in which the outside of your car gets a bump, bruise, scratch, or scrape, just go to Dingman's Collision Center. Trenton and I have had the privilege of working with Dingman's for a long time in the real estate world. Trenton does real estate deals for them. And we've also had occasion to have them fix our cars, and cannot speak highly enough about the service and the quality workmanship that you get from Dingman's Collision Center. Also brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding. All right, first phone call of the show goes to Brian, who has a question about La Vista. Good morning, Brian, and welcome.
Morning. Thanks for taking the call, guys.
You bet.
I've been watching the city center there in La Vista kind of grow over the last several months to a couple of years, and I was just kind of curious if there's any estimated timelines for when that's going to be completed, and like what kind of retail or restaurants do we know of what's going to be going in there?
Okay, Trent, you want to give it a start?
Yeah, the Heights Tap Room has already been open for quite a while. That seems to be pretty successful. They've got something like 28 beers on tap. They've got a stretch lab and a nail salon, and then Turf Tank, which is an interesting business. And I don't know if this is their headquarters or not, but if you look at their website, Turf Tank is a machine that they put paint or something into it. They program it, and it can draw all the lines on the field and the letters in the end zone and all that kind of stuff. Have you guys ever seen those reels?
Nope.
On social media? It's pretty cool. I don't know how they landed that one. But there was a thing called Lincoln's Pub, and we don't know the status of that, whether that's going forward or not. But I know they're trying to track a bunch of different restaurants, and they've announced that was it this summer they hope to have the music venue open, the Astro?
They announced a concert, and I've drawn a blank on who it was. It was a national recording artist that we've all heard of. But, so the first show has already been announced.
It's booked and announced, yeah. Yeah, we're not sure about those restaurants. I've heard some conflicting reports as to whether those are actually going to happen there or not. I would say that what they have built so far, though, looks very attractive. And, it's kind of the intention of the projects is to function as the downtown that La Vista never had. And it probably will do a pretty good job of that.
And unless there's something that's completely out of the ordinary with the development, I would say that there's so many residences in that area, within a 10-mile drive of that venue, that it's just a matter of time. If they start booking shows, that's going to fill up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the city already built one parking garage, and the second parking garage right on 84th Street, it's about 570 stalls, is getting completed right now. But you have to remember, guys, it's been so long since Walmart closed, and the retail paradigm kind of shifted a mile south to 72nd and east to 72nd and Giles. And so I think that the better the tenant mix, the more apartments, the more drive-by vision they have, I think it'll pick up.
Okay, Brian, we appreciate the call. We now go to Pamela, who has a call about West Maple. Good morning, Pamela.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question about strip mall that is all on West Maple, next door to Hobby Lobby, behind Aldi there. There's a really attractive strip mall that was built, and it's been vacant for like 2 years. It's never had a tenant. And I was just wondering what the story is with that strip mall.
the developer, BHI, who's done that whole development, Whispering Ridge has done a great job on it. And I don't know if it's because that shopping center kind of sits back a little bit or the right tenants haven't come along, but they've done a great job building that shopping center, and it is puzzling. You'd think that they'd aggressively fill it with tenants. They've got a ton of projects. This is one of them, and we'd like to see it filled as well, because you got Hobby Lobby there, you've got Target, you've got a lot of complementary businesses there, but sometimes these things take longer than others.
And BHI has done great projects all over the whole metro area, so it's not like they're like a one-off that's struggling. They're a great developer.
Do we know where in the 168th and Maple area Mercado is opening?
I do not.
Because
there's room in that strip center.
Because they keep saying they're going to be going to 168th and Maple, and I wondered if that was the site. Because I'm with you, Pamela. It's a very nice looking center, and kind of surprising that it appears to still be empty. But we'll keep our eye on it, and hopefully they'll get some tenants in there pretty soon. We appreciate the call. Okay, now we go to Jeff. Jeff, you are the next contestant on the Grow Omaha Game Show.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know, Warren Buffett is a 10% shareholder in Kroger Foods. And I'm just from somebody who knows, their real estate team has been in town quite a bit, snooping around. I guess since Buffett bought it prior to the pandemic, Omaha is on Kroger's list of expansions. And Kroger has super centers also, and I guess they're looking at 3 new stores in Omaha. I don't know, and I'm just going to tell you, I know this for sure. Have you guys heard any more?
No, and I hope you're right, because I know that I'm familiar with the superstores, and we would love to see one, say, by the ballpark on Highway 370. Which is kind of not a food desert, but it's certainly a kind of a tweener for grocery stores. It'd be a great location for it. Kroger's a good brand, and
just to make sure everyone knows, Baker's is Kroger.
Right.
Okay, make sure everyone knows that.
And so, Baker's does a good job, but Hy-Vee has really been the dominant force in the last decade. And I remember when Baker's had like 35% of the market, and Hy-Vee has come in pretty fast, and hopefully, if Warren Buffett has any say, that they'll step it up in Omaha.
Yeah.
I do know for a fact he's the CEO of Kroger has been in town probably in the last 16 months 6 to 8 times, and I know he meets with him.
Yeah, tell him to call Trenton Maggot for better locations.
I just didn't know, and I've heard that they're actually looking at the downtown location.
We would love that. Maybe they would go to White Lotus's development on that 90-acre site. That'd be excellent.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you guys have heard any more. I know, again, the real estate team they had 15 people in town 3 weeks ago. From the real estate team.
Yes, send us a message. We'd love to learn more about it.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Yeah, it's funny because you talk about the downtown grocery store. Ever since the city and White Lotus released those renderings a couple weeks ago for the Civic site, and everyone keeps saying, may Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or an Urban Fairway or some sort, or like Cosentino's in downtown KC or something like that. Who knows? Maybe Kroger could do an urban version of Baker's or something like that.
You'll have like escalators where you can put your cart on.
Just like the Target, like 2-story Targets in downtown areas have. Interesting stuff. All right, let's take our middle of the show break for the news. When we come back, Michael, you will be the first caller. So, Michael, don't go anywhere. We know you want to talk about something on 144th Street. Other than Michael, though, the phone lines are open. If you would like to participate, just dial 402-558-1110. Once again, 402-558-1110. You're listening to Grow Omaha Brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid, joined by Brad Williams today, which means that it is the call-in show, 402-558-1110. And we're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. And before we get to Michael and Jim, our next two callers, do want to give you something that you've been waiting for, and that is the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies is based right here in Omaha under the leadership of Jay Noddle and a team of outstanding professionals. They have projects all over the place, not just Omaha. I mean, they are a national real estate development company, but they love their hometown, and they're doing big projects, things like the Builders District, downtown, north downtown, Steel Ridge in the Gretna Papillion area. Doing projects like River's Edge in Council Bluffs. But today we talk about perhaps their best known local project, Ak-Sar-Ben. In Ak-Sar-Ben Village, the Interrail Food Hall has a new concept. It's called Soulful, and it's SOLFUL, Soulful. And they had a soft opening in the Interrail Food Hall. The tagline is Food with a Purpose, and they sell Argentinian empanadas, beef, spicy beef, 3 cheese onion, and spinach, to be exact. Looks like a cool place, and early reviews have been positive from what I've heard.
This is the best time of year to go to Ak-Sar-Ben Village. The vibe is great. The weather's been great, and you can see all ages down there just kind of hanging out. It's very organic feeling.
Oh, it's awesome.
And the mixed use, all the apartments and the entertainment in the park and the food choices. It is just neat.
Last Sunday, right, we got done with church at around 10 o'clock or so. We went straight down to the farmer's market and at Ak-Sar-Ben Village, and we just kind of hung around, checked out all the booths, and then we went and had lunch in the Interrail Food Hall. Each family member went to a different Interrail Food Hall restaurant. So we had 4 restaurants represented at our table. And the whole time you walk around there and you feel like you're in a big city environment. There's just so much to do, and it's so cool.
Does the farmers market Ak-Sar-Ben go on Sundays as well? Or
Sundays. And it's downtown on Saturdays, and then it's Ak-Sar-Ben Village on Sundays.
Gotcha.
And that's your Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You can find out more about Noddle by going to noddlecompanies.com. Michael, you have been patient. Thank you for waiting, and you are next on Grow Omaha.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, Michael.
So I work at part-time over at Woodhouse Place. It's corner of Giles and 144th, but just south of there was the old Baxter Ford. And I've watched over the last year at least different activities going on over there. I think at one point I saw Sarpy County sheriffs pulling into their express lane and, I don't know, doing something on their vehicles and stuff. But most recently, right out in front of the building, they've now re-poured concrete and they're doing landscaping. And just wondering, any idea what might be going in there?
That's been a few years since that sold, and I remember it was a private company that bought it. I don't recall which one it was, but they've really been sitting on that for a few years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
I heard a rumor about it within the last half year that if they've already, and this might not be accurate based on what you said, Michael, but I had heard that it was going to be some sort of industrial building, but that could be totally wrong. Looks like you've given us a little bit of homework that we have to do in the next week. Hopefully, I don't know if you listen regularly, but we'll do a little homework on this and either put it in the newsletter or mention it next week, or maybe both. But sorry,
yeah, I wasn't sure if even possibly that parking lot is pretty good, and they only poured concrete up to a certain portion. Whether they're going to parcel it into 2 separate properties now, or one person might take the whole thing, or what the heck's going on?
Okay, well, I'm sorry you held for so long just to hear us say we're not sure, but we'll do a little bit of homework on that. So,
all right, sounds good.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. 402-558-1110 is the phone number. 402-558-1110. Let's go to Jim. Good morning, Jim. You're next on Grow Omaha.
Well, thank you. OPPD has just announced they're going to double their power generation here in the next couple of years. And Trent just said that sometimes the location of solar panel farms is controversial. So I don't understand why they don't reopen the Cooper Nuclear Power Station. I don't really see why they closed it down in the first place. It's clean generation. It's better than coal or natural gas. It seems crazy to me.
I appreciate the call, Jim, and I don't think you can reopen it because last time I drove by, they were dismantling it, weren't they?
He said Cooper, which was the one
Cooper.
down south.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm not familiar with, but yes, the one in.
Well, I might be mixed up.
The one in Fort Calhoun has been taken apart.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Fort Calhoun one, Jim. Sorry about that. But yeah, because that one is like.
Well, it could be either one.
Yeah. You know, I agree with you. Personally, I think it's crazy that U.S. utilities are not doing more nuclear power. It's so effective and it works real. I think there's a lot of misperceptions in the public as to the safety of nuclear power. That could be part of it. If I remember correctly, OPPD at the time when they announced the decommissioning, I think there were some costs and logistics with maintaining a nuclear plant that they may not have thought was worth it for them anymore. But on a broader picture, you know, why are we not doing more nuclear power in this country does seem kind of asinine to me. But there's plenty of room in Nebraska to build solar panels. I mean, we have land, although, you know, that land's good productive ag land, but I'm sure they can find places to put up a lot of panels. Jim, we appreciate the call and we appreciate you listening. Jerry, we're going to put you on hold for just a moment. I know you want to talk about economic conditions. So, Jerry, please stay with us. We're going to do our final break of the hour. We'll have our lightning round from Turner Construction, and then we will answer Jerry's question. If anyone wants to take a chance and wiggle in another phone call, go for it. 402-558-1110. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid, joined by Brad Williams from E&A Consulting and Brad Williams Photography. It's the call-in show, 402-558-1110. Jerry, going to get to you in just a moment. But first, we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding, top-notch roofing company serving Nebraska and Western Iowa. How about a little bit of Turner Construction lightning round, in which we can tell you about a few things going on in a really short period of time. Turner Construction is building Omaha's environment in a way that few other do. Outstanding projects, outstanding place to work. Turner Construction makes this possible because they care about the Omaha community and they care about Grow Omaha and Grow Omaha listeners. So call Turner Construction for any construction need you might have. A couple little quick things for you today before we get to our last call. Fig is the new restaurant inside of the Kiewit Luminarium. Going to start serving dinners on Thursday nights. They're normally open just for breakfast and lunch. McDonald's is coming to 204th and Q, northeast corner. Trenton is going around town with Twin Peaks, looking for some new sites for a potential comeback to the market. Williamsburg Pizza is opening May 30th at 168th and Harrison, and the early reviews have been good. All right, a couple minutes for Jerry with a call about economic conditions. Jerry, welcome to the show. Do we have Jerry? All right, we may have lost Jerry. Wait, is Jerry on the phone still?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
There he is. Now we've got him. Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, guys, thanks. I'll take just a minute. The show is called Grow Omaha, and you guys do a fantastic job of being the spirit of Omaha and, being cheerleaders for everything that's going on. I must tell you that we've been sampling pretty much the entire commercial real estate community over the last several months, getting ready for our annual CRE Summit coming in August, and have found something that's negative.
What's that,
Jerry? That is high construction costs and high interest rates. And I think it might be good to have a show or part of a show that talks about how to work through a very high interest rate environment like we're in now. We've all been through it before. But it would be beneficial for, I think, your listeners to understand that we are in it. Things have slowed down. In fact, some things have absolutely stopped because the numbers don't work. And it's a big concern for the engineers, architects, developers, brokers, lenders, title. Everyone's seeing it, guys. And I just thought it might be a good idea to visit that subject because that's the reality today.
Absolutely. And that's Jerry Slusky, who's the founder and a local attorney and developer and founder of the CRE Summit for the last, 35 years now?
34th this year, thank you.
And that'll be when?
August 25.
Everybody should check out attendcresummit.com and go to that. But as far as this show, yeah, we need to do our part, Jeff. The construction costs are high, cost of labor is high, and interest rates are high. But Jerry, we're surprisingly busy in our office, and there's still a lot of money in the market, which is good. I think developers and real estate investors have squirreled money away.
Well, I think it's working for existing projects, but the new development for conventional players, not institutions like you guys talk a lot about, but rather just the individual developers, it's very, very difficult to make these things work, and that's the focus of our attention this year at the Summit.
Well, Jerry, we couldn't agree more, and maybe we'll talk offline about doing something just like that. Appreciate you calling in. It's good to hear your voice, Jerry, and even people who don't directly work in commercial real estate but are just fascinated by it probably would enjoy your event on August 25th.
It's always good. Thanks, guys. And it was not a plug for the Summit, but just rather the reality of the marketplace.
Well, we appreciate you calling. Thanks, Jerry. Jerry Slusky from the Commercial Real Estate Summit. So, guys, we wrap up the show with an interesting piece of news that I'd like to highlight. Nebraska now has the lowest unemployment rate it has ever had.
Wow. And
second lowest in the country, and the music is playing, which means I've got to shut up. So, Brad, thanks for being a part of it, as always.
Yeah, I always enjoy being on. Thanks.
Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting. That's it. For the show and the Turner Construction Lightning Round, I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggott.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by the aforementioned Turner Construction, as well as Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.